What's up, guys? I haven't made a video in about a week, and for the 3 or 4 people that are subscribed to me, sorry about that. Just in case I might have been able to offer you something, right? Anything. I felt inclined tonight to talk about finding a good provider and the importance of having a good rapport with that provider. In my experience with major depressive episode and anxiety and all this mess, is there are some good doctors out there, right? Really good doctors out there, but there are some really, really shitty doctors out there too. I mean, guys that are super smart, but they don't know how to talk to a patient, and they definitely don't know how to empathize. I mean, I'm sure if you've battled mental illness, such as myself, you know what I'm talking about. You know the doctor that you sit down with, and he asks you all these kind of questions, but you don't get the sense that he has ever spent a day in his life with mental illness, right? He treats it, but it is separate from him. If you don't feel like you can relate, or I don't know if relate's the right word, but if you don't get the sense that he cares about you, and it's a sixth sense. People in the health industry and all that, it's a tricky balance between being the doctor and also being someone you can trust and confide in. So in reference, for example, I've been through a couple of psychiatrists since I had my mental episode, my mental breakdown. And the one I'm currently with, I have the best relationship with. I believe that he cares about me. And if I didn't believe he cared about me, I'd totally go find another one. And if I didn't believe that next dude cared about me, I would go find another one. Because if I can't find a provider who I am confident cares about me and about my well-being and about me getting into remission and me staying mentally stable or trying to get mentally stable, what happens when I stop caring about myself, which is every other day? I mean, when you have a mental illness, you don't care. You don't care about a lot of things. So you have to have someone who will care and can be on you in terms of holding you accountable to him and yourself, or her and yourself. I'll tell you a little story. When I first got sick, when my big crash happened, I got paired up with this very highly touted, doctor. Everyone talked about him in terms of the professional community. My parents are physicians and they have a lot of connections, and I'm grateful for that. And so they got me in line with this psychiatrist who's supposed to be the best, right? He's supposed to be the best. And I was so hopeless and so despairing that when I met him, I put all my faith that he was going to make me well. That's a mistake in my opinion, but I did. I mean, I was 2 or 3 months into my illness. I was so suicidal, just horrendously hopeless and despairing and fucked up. My brain was broken down. And I met this guy, and he talked a good talk, and he was very, very wordy. His diction was just out of this world. The guy could quote Shakespeare. He was a talker, right? And he knew a lot, and I believed that he knew a lot, and I tried to have faith that he could help me get well. He could keep me from dying. Well, I had that appointment with him, the very first appointment. I thought it went okay, but I definitely got this weird feeling from him, right? It's just like he gave me that vibe that he is the doctor and I am the patient, and we are not friends. I'm his patient. I felt like a patient. And when you are sick like I am and desperately needing connection, you don't want to feel like the patient. Anyway, long story short, I was supposed to see him like a month later, which freaked me out, first of all, because he tossed me on all these meds and then said, "I'll see you in a month." And this is someone, mind you, at that time, I was literally trying not to kill myself every single day, and I was afraid of everything, and I'd never taken a medication before. So anyway, in the midst of being under this doctor's care, I ended up in the hospital. I was ready to take my own life. I was talking crazy, thinking back on it, because I put a lot of pressure on my support system, like my family, and more specifically at that day, my mom. She had to do something because I was so bad off that it was bound to happen. I was ready to run away and end it. So they took me to the hospital. I was in there for a week, and my doctor, my psychiatrist, the guy in charge of taking care of me, He never responded to a single call by my family, by the medical staff at the hospital that I was being held in. I never heard from him, and he was contacted and left messages, and he never got back to me. Never got back to me. I mean, it's unacceptable, right? If you don't believe that you matter, how are you supposed to make it if you don't get the vibe that the people that are in charge of your wellness don't make you feel like you matter as well? Does that make sense? The guy basically disappeared on me. Wouldn't respond to emails. I got out of the hospital and I didn't have a doctor apparently. You know, and now this is a specific scenario, and I don't want to act like all doctors are bad, but the point is, I had the wrong doctor, and I needed to find someone I could trust. And it took a while, but I did find someone, and I did finally get that feeling that I mattered, and that that sincerity that I desperately needed. Because you can't connect to anything, I couldn't connect to anything when I was at the very worst part of this. I mean, I couldn't connect to anything. I felt like the walking dead, and I finally found a provider who I trusted, and at the very least believed he cared about me, and his belief that I would at some point emerge from this, I couldn't deny it, So as unsure as I was, he was extremely sure, and I developed that relationship, and I'm still with him right now. And I'm not to the point where I want to be. I wouldn't consider myself in remission, but I'm moving along, and I'm trying to make the right steps, and I have the right provider, and I can't stress enough how important it is to find one. So if you find a provider and it doesn't go well, look for another one. Don't give up. Ask family, ask friends, try to be as resourceful as you can, because I know you're going to be fragile, because I was crazy fragile, and I really needed someone to hold my hand and tell me what to do and how to do it. I could barely stay alive. So finding a provider that you believe in, even if you can't believe in yourself, is important, and I highly recommend it, and I think it's imperative. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you could take something from that, and I'll try to be a little more proactive with doing these videos. I don't know who's watching, but if I said something that in any way, shape, or form could help you, or anything, then it was worth it. And be well, guys. Feel free to comment and ask any questions you might have, or if there's anything I can do. And you're not alone. Even though you feel like it, you're not alone.